Books of accounts, primary books and subsidiary books. Advantages of subsidiary records. Dear students, today let us learn about books of accounts, primary books and subsidiary books, and the advantages of subsidiary books in accounting. Ordinarily, books of accounts may be divided into two classes: A. Principal books, namely ledgers, and B. Subsidiary books or books of original entry, such as cash book, purchases book, sales book, journal, etc. Subsidiary records. Business transactions are not entered straight away in their respective accounts, but are at first passed through some subsidiary records and are then transferred to their appropriate accounts in a book called the ledger. Formerly, journal was the only book of original entry in which all the transactions were first entered irrespective of their nature and in the order in which they are occurred. But this naturally entailed a separate debit being given to the receiving account and a credit to the giving account in order to bring into record the twofold aspect of every individual business transaction. Experience soon showed, however, that if transactions of a salary nature were entered together in a separate journal, a considerable saving of clerical labor would be brought about by obviating this necessity of individual debit and credit being given to two separate accounts for the complete record of every business dealing. Thus, the various subsidiary records soon found their place in accounting. These subsidiary records are also known as books of original entry, as these transactions are entered there in the first instance in order that they may be subsequently transferred to their respective accounts in the ledger. They are also called subsidiary journals because whereas formerly all the transactions were passed through the one book called the journal, modern bookkeeping has subdivided this one journal into separate journals, each for recording transactions of one particular type of nature in order to obviate unnecessary clerical labor. The usual subsidiary records as are at present employed in a commercial form are 1. Cash book, to record cash receipts and payments and discounts received and allowed if any. 2. Purchases book or invoice book or bought book for recording credit purchases. 3. Sales book or day book or sold book for recording credit sales. 4. Purchase returns book or returns outwards book for recording goods returned by us. 5. Sales returns book or returns inwards book to record goods returned to us. 6. Bills receivable book to keep record of business receivable. 7. Bills payable book to keep a record of bills payable. 8. Journal. The journal still forms one of the subsidiary records, but its use is restricted to the recording of transactions of an extraordinary nature which do not fall within any of the above subdivisions. Advantages of subsidiary records. 1. By recording transactions of any one class, such as credit purchases, credit sales, cash transactions, bills transactions, goods returned through separate subsidiary journals, a considerable saving of clerical labor in postings is effected. Thus, if every credit purchases were entered in journal as it used to be formerly, the posting of each such entry would be to the debit of purchases account and to the credit of the personal account of the suppliers concerned. Now, by adopting the purchases journal for the record of all credit purchases, almost half of the labor in postings is saved, and this is due to the fact that whereas each personal account of the supplier would still have to be individually credited, the corresponding debit to the purchase account need only to be given in shape of periodical total of this book. Similarly, by entering all credit sales in a separate subsidiary journal called the sales journal or the sales book, the individual credit to the sales account would be avoided inasmuch as whereas the personal account of each customer concerned would be individually debited with its respective sale amount from the sales book. The corresponding credit would be given to the sales account not with each individual amount but with the periodical total of the sales book. 2. By the use of separate journals for the record transactions of each particular type, the clerical work involved can be divided amongst the several members of the office staff, and a speedy record of day-to-day transactions is thus rendered practicable in a large business. 3. By grouping together transactions of a similar nature in a separate book, the future reference to any particular item is considerably facilitated. In the next lecture, we will discuss about cash book and bank book.